Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's the John Ross Show, and today it's 11:07:25 Friday, and we're going to discuss the rule of law under Trump. That's what we're going to be discussing today. And it's a little warmer out right now. It's 58 degrees out there, so that's good. But we heard, I don't know, I heard last night in the weather that they said snow was coming. I don't know. We'll see about that. So and I just looked online a few minutes ago. CNN reports that the government is going to start fully funding SNAP. They're going to do it by the end of the day. That's the story there. We'll see if that happens. And I just want to remind you, before we get into our interview with Juan Thomas, I just want to remind you about our food pantries. Aurora has several, and if you don't know where your food pantry is, I'm going to put this up real shortly. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, this is it. It's going to be on the crawl down at the bottom. This is how you find your food pantries. We got several in Aurora. The Aurora Area Interfaith Food Pantry is one, and another bigger one is Marie Wilkinson. And they both have some sublet places, and you can look online for that. Then Batavia has a new pantry too, or not new, a new building, I should say. It's going to be dedicated soon here. It's a $3 million new building that they have in Batavia on First Street. So that's another pantry. So those are out there. And so you can get your helps there and help them both ways. If you need help, or you can give to help. And so coming Monday, I'm going to have Major Joaquin Rango is going to be with me of the Salvation Army. So that's what's going to happen on Monday. So I'm going to bring up this video that we did just a little while ago, a few hours ago, with Juan Thomas, a good friend. And so here comes the interview, and we'll be back right at the end there and to sign off. So here comes the interview with Juan Thomas. I'm going to take myself down, and we're going to get this going here. So let's see. We got to get this out of there. We got to do a few technical things here. I'm sorry. Got to get this out of there. Got to take myself down, and then I'm going to start the video. It's November 7th, and we're going to have a special guest with me today, Juan Thomas. And Juan's a friend from Kiwanis and church things, and just attorney, and he's done a lot of things and been in Democratic politics too. So Juan's well versed in what we're going to be talking about. We're going to discuss the rule of law under Trump. So I'm going to bring up Juan right now. There's Juan. Good to be with you, Juan.
How are you, my friend? Good to see you.
Yeah, it's very great. We've talked about this topic in a few months, and it's still out there. This rule of law topic,
It's still
and
an
I
issue,
told
isn't it?
Juan
Yeah.
before we started here, this is going to be a topic for. It's not
For the
going
next 4
away.
years at least, if not longer.
Yes, it's going to be at least till midterms, election, and more. Maybe it's going to be around a while. And Juan has done a lot of work, and he's on legal things, and he's past president of the National Bar Association. Is that right? Is that the
That
correct
is
National
correct. Yeah.
Bar? Yes. So, and he's been involved in Democratic politics, and he's a lawyer in Chicago, and he's just a good friend, and he lives out in our suburban area, in our Aurora area. So, Juan, how have you thought about this topic of the rule of law and Trump? What comes to your mind when you think about the rule of law and Donald Trump?
Well, John, first let me thank you for inviting me to be part of this conversation with you on your show. I want to commend you for your community service over the years, your leadership in Kiwanis and many other civic spaces. And so I want to thank you for your continued friendship and reaching out to me from time to time to be part of this show that you've been doing for the last several years. To answer your question directly, I will tell you I have been more and more troubled by what's been going on in our country since January 20th, specifically, because I continue to see and I continue to experience the direct and deliberate and intentional assault, not only on the rule of law, but also on our democracy and our institutional norms that we all, as Americans, at one point agreed to. I can tell you that I sit on multiple different civic boards and involved in many other organizations where I'm seeing the direct impact of this attack and assault on who we are as Americans. I also have friends and colleagues who have lost their job, who have lost their livelihood because they dare stand for the courage of their convictions. It's quite troubling, quite frankly. And I think what we saw on Tuesday in the elections in Virginia, in New York City, and the state of New Jersey were people finally standing up and saying, enough is enough. This is now hurting me directly. This is not what we voted for. You're going too far. And quite frankly, we see that not just in those those two states and cities, but also in the referendum in California, where California said, okay, Texas, you want to change your lines to, quote, have an advantage in the midterm elections? We'll do the same. And again, it's finally, well, I'll say it this way. We're finally coming to a place of realizing that this is hurting people. And the Trump administration and he and those who carry out Project 2025 in particular are intentionally trying to roll back the gains and the progress of the last 50 to 75 years. They want to take us back to a pre-civil rights, pre-voting rights era where African Americans stayed in their place, where Latinos were not here or they weren't here in large number. And quite frankly, let me also say this to my female friends across the country and who are listening to your show. They want women at home in the kitchen, cooking dinner, making breakfast.
Geez, I need that.
Right. They don't even want women.
Oh, I can't go on. Excuse me.
So be careful what you vote for.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I see it. I see it as
Yeah.
a direct assault on our constitutional norms. There's always an effort to redefine, or quite frankly, what I've called it, I'll call it for what it is. It's a lie. With all with all due respect to my Republican friends, Donald Trump is a liar. He lies.
Oh, hey, pastor, you're a pastor too. What does the Bible say about liars?
Nothing good.
It's not good, is it?
Nothing good. In my church tradition, they say the devil is a lie, right?
That's right. He's the chief liar. Mm-hmm.
Right. And so let's be clear. And so as a lawyer,
Right.
This is offensive to me because I swore an oath and I have ethical obligations in my practice, in my profession, to tell the truth. And so
Right.
the idea that I would walk into a courtroom and be dishonest with a judge,
Oh,
I
we've seen that. Yeah.
will lose my law license. And let me say for those of you on this show who know me or who want to throw up people's past, here's my point. I went through a disciplinary issue 20 years ago. I know what this is like personally. And I had to deal with the consequences of a bad decision I made as a very young lawyer. And so my point is there are consequences for being dishonest. There are consequences to presenting false information. And lawyers, we know better. And I'm watching too many lawyers who work for Donald Trump, who are part of the administration, ignore the rule of law, ignore the oath that we took as lawyers. And it's infuriating, quite frankly. And I've said publicly, and I say it on your show right now, if a lawyer is not willing to uphold the rule of law and the oath of our profession, they should turn in their law license and go find another profession because
That
you're no
makes sense.
longer worthy to be part of this profession. And if you sit back and idly watch what's going on and make excuses for it, you may not be the one doing it, but you are capitulating to it, and it's just as bad.
Hey, this one guy that's the head of the Department of Management and Budget, I guess it's called. Well, I think it's Russell Vogt.
Yeah, Russell Vogt. He is the author and orchestrator of Project 2020, Project
That's
2025.
correct. Project,
He's
yes.
the brains behind everything that's happening.
I understand. And it's really irritating to me. I went to Wheaton Graduate School and I appreciated the people at Wheaton. This man went to Wheaton College also. And it's really infuriating. They somehow or another, Wheaton alumni put up right away when Trump came in, they put up a glowing little thing about him before all these things happened, but it was coming. And you should have seen the reaction from the alumni on it. They were like, I'm turning back my diploma.
Right,
It was just, so it got so bad that they pulled it down.
right.
They pulled down their
John,
Russell Vogt, a great alumni guy. And I
I
thought
went,
that was good, but
yeah.
it's sad that that guy is just horrible. Yeah.
Your comments remind me of something that I learned from my alma mater. I went to Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, the school of Martin Luther King, the school of Spike Lee, and Martin Luther King's mentor was the president of Morehouse at the time, named Benjamin Elijah Mays, a profound intellectual, theologian, educator. And he has a quote that says, "There's no guarantee that when you train a man's mind, that you will train his soul or his heart.
Oh,
There's no correlation between intellect and character."
this is.
And the guy that runs Project 25,
Mhm.
he's quite an intellectual. He's
Right.
very
That's what
smart,
I heard.
but he lacks character.
Right. That's correct. Yes. Yes.
And so many of these people that are promoting this Trump agenda, this Project 2025 agenda, they are very intelligent, very sophisticated, highly educated, and they know what they are doing. They are dismantling our government and our institutions, and they're shredding and they're shredding the Constitution.
Yeah.
And,
And uh-huh.
and they're playing on the lack of intellect. When I say lack of intellect, I mean lack of knowledge of
Okay.
many
Right.
people around the country that don't know how systems work, that truly want their eggs to be cheaper and want their groceries to be cheaper generally, and want
Right.
a decent paying job, and they want a sense of fairness in their mind. So they play on people's lack of knowledge, lack of exposure, lack of opportunity to create cultural divides, and they vote their race and often not their economic interest. But on Tuesday, those who said, wait a minute, you want me to hate trans people, you want me to hate gay people, you want me to hate brown and black people, but guess what? I need my SNAP benefits. I need to feed my family. And being anti-gay or anti-trans is not putting food on my table. So I'm going to vote
Well, they play that game.
right.
Yes.
So if they finally woke
And
up and said, wait a minute, let me vote my economic interest because I'm hurting now. No matter, particularly when they're watching the president build a ballroom that he doesn't need at the White
well,
House.
he didn't need no law on that either. It's
Right.
He didn't need Congress to do that. So
Right.
it's back to our
That's good.
this topic's broad,
Right.
but that
And
he
he had big
didn't
lavish
use rules or
Halloween
rule
party.
of law there. He
Right.
just did it on his
And he
own.
threw that lavish Halloween party, you know,
Oh yes.
in Florida this past weekend. So, and again, it's sad, John, to say this, but we have leadership in this country that they don't care about people. They
No,
don't
that's
care.
the SNAP thing. Back to we can get the SNAP thing right now that they're appealing. The judge told them to get that SNAP money out, and they're appealing. I go, this
They're
is crazy. They
appealing
could
to
have got out of
the
this
border.
SNAP
Right.
thing. They were given a gift by the lawyer, I mean by the judge, to get out of this, and they could have used the statement that the judge told me to do it, but they didn't. They'd rather be cruel.
John, nothing is more cruel. Nothing is more unchristian. Nothing is more any faith tradition you can name
Right.
than to take food out of the mouths of children.
Right.
The Bible references that a child will save us, right? How do you not feed children?
Right.
And what I just want to underscore is Trump's actions, his conduct, his words, his policies, and his legal positioning in court should tell all of us he does not care about Americans unless they are wealthy, white, and male, quite frankly. And he will work with those who purport to support Americans who are wealthy, white, and male, but he doesn't care about you very much either. And it's very sad that we have a government in this country that has lost any sense of humanity or decency.
Yeah.
And they're openly, they're blatantly disrespectful and open about it. It's kind of, you know what it is? It's everything your mother and father raised you not to be. Think about that. Our parents taught us, we teach our children
Right.
to say thank you when someone gives you something, to share, not to lie,
Right.
right? Don't be selfish. Help people if you can be helpful. Don't insult people. Don't call someone fat or ugly or dumb. We tell our children not to do that.
Right.
But what is the example they're watching if they see our president on television? And what's most offensive to me and most challenging to me is that there are so many Americans who watch this and they know it's wrong.
Right.
But they put up with it and accept it because in their mind, President Trump carries out some type of economic, cultural, or personal agenda that suits their interest. So they'll put up with his racism, his narcissism, his sexism, because at the end of the day, they like his agenda on deportation.
Right.
They like the fact that he's trying to tear down diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Right.
They like the fact that he's trying to lower taxes for the rich.
Right.
And so it's quite sad. And I've been very vocal about this in spaces where I sit with my colleagues who support him. And often, I will tell you, they have no response. They just sit there.
Yeah, right.
They
No,
can't
they don't have a response. I agree.
debate.
There is no. Uh,
They just
you
went
know,
glad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
talking about immigration, that that Civil War law, post Civil War law, how posse comitatus, about troops in the street. You know,
Oh,
I'm talking
yes.
that that law. My understanding one came after an election. I think my friend updated me again about Tilden and Hayes, and
After the Civil War,
the
right.
Republicans
Military troops
gave up.
in the streets. Right.
How was it? They gave up their troops in the South, and that
Exactly.
was part of that.
Part of the compromise.
So that's how they got that law. So now we got troops, and they're mostly in northern cities.
Imagine that
I
with
know
African
it's
American
reversed,
mayors
and then we're not using that
or
law like we should
liberal
be.
mayors, right?
And I mean, and Trump knows, these guys around Trump know these laws, and they're just flouting them, right? They just,
Look,
the
the
judges
Trump
aren't
administration does not care about the rule of law. They are
right,
willing to ignore and break the law and or bend it and push executive authority as far as they can.
right,
This past week, the Supreme Court heard a case about Trump's authority to issue tariffs to foreign
right,
countries.
right, right. Hmm.
And even the conservative justices were a bit suspicious because
Right,
in the statute that they're referencing, there is no mention of the word tariff in the statute,
right,
right? Um, and Congress is very clear when they mean tax or tariff, they use that language. They don't mean regulation
right.
to be inclusive of the term tax or tariff. And so here again, you find the administration is just willing to go all the way in. And I keep telling people, stop assuming there's a line he won't cross.
Oh, I agree with
There is
that.
nothing he will not try, including if he can find a way to run for a third term, he will.
I agree totally.
He
Yeah,
absolutely will try.
he'll try to do anything. I've heard some flaky ideas like running two candidates and make him Speaker of the House, and the flaky candidates that a Republican back out, and then because the next in line is the Speaker of the House. But maybe we should do the but he might not be the Speaker of the House at that time. Now that's another thing that this scenario
So
doesn't quite work.
when I wear my political hat, I'm hoping Hakeem Jeffries will be the next Speaker of the
That's
House
right.
in about
And
a
another
year.
thing, if they play these games, maybe we'll run Barack Obama for a third term too. I mean, if they're
Well,
playing that game, we can do that. The other side can do that too.
look,
Then,
if a third term is available, then why can't Barack Obama run? Why can't Bill Clinton run? Why not?
right? I
George
don't
Bush
know, but
George Bush could challenge Trump in a primary for the Republican nomination. Why not?
I, I don't know how he do. He hasn't. That's one thing that Bush is. He hasn't stood up at all on Trump, and then Trump didn't even hasn't said anything about Dick Cheney's passing. Of course, he doesn't have too much compassion on anybody, but he hasn't. He's flying the flags half staff because it's by law, not because he wants to. Oh, I heard there's a law,
Well, look,
executives that they
as we
got to
know,
do
Liz
that.
Cheney was a strong opponent of Trump and thought he should not be in
Right.
the White House, and she supported and endorsed Kamala Harris last year. So he's in a trick bag there because a lot of his friends were friends with and worked with Dick Cheney, and so he's not going to go too far to criticize him. But no, I'm sure privately he's not speaking highly of our former vice president.
No. Well, Juan, I think we've had a good little time here together, and we're going to have you back here soon because there's more coming down the road here. We know that.
Well, look, I just want to tell your listeners, stay vigilant, stay in your faith tradition, stay prayed up. But after you get up from prayer, you got to get up and do some work. Get out
Right.
there and vote. Educate your friends, your neighbors, your circles of influence, but also take care of yourself. And also, it's important to say this, and I'll end on this point. In this moment that I call a crisis of our democracy and our Constitution, you've got to find moments of joy and celebration. So I just turned 55 last month. Um,
When
double
did you do this now? When?
October 21st was my birthday.
Okay. I came later. I had a birthday the other day too
Okay,
myself.
happy belated birthday. My wife took me on a little weekend getaway, surprise.
Nice.
I did not know where we were going until we got to the airport. Um,
Hmm.
and you got to have moments where you celebrate birthdays, celebrate holidays, celebrate, just being in friendship and in a relationship with people
Right.
you care
I
about.
think so. That's a
Um,
good point.
so I would just
I
want to
got to
encourage
do more of that
you.
myself. I think that's a very good point. Yep.
Yeah,
And we celebrated uh, an election on Tuesday, which I enjoy. I remember I got a picture of my late mother on my refrigerator. She couldn't see well, but in 2008, I remember that election. After we found out Obama won, I have a picture of her putting two thumbs up and just celebrating her. She was in her 90s and she had just voted and she passed away about a half a year later or less.
mm,
But she was really excited, and we were then. I mean,
right,
I don't want to always be in an election to get us excited. God can get us excited through showing love and as people finding our Lord Jesus Christ. There's many ways we can have excitement and love, and we got to keep pressing that. And you were talking about faith without action is dead, and that's
right.
what James said. And
That's in the
we
good
got
book.
to pray, and I've been learning that lately. I got to do more prayer, and then we got to do our action. We need
That's right.
prayer though to go with our action. We just can't be doing. We got to talk to our Lord and get ourselves together there. And
Right.
I thank Juan for being with us today, and we'll have him back soon again. I know we will. And
Take care, my
I
friend.
appreciate you, Juan, and thank you very much for sharing with us this afternoon. God
Glad to do
bless
it.
you, and
Take
thank
care.
you very much, Juan.
All right. Bye bye.
Okay, bye bye. Okay, it's stopped. So that was our video with Juan Thomas, and I appreciated Juan coming by. So I'm going to put this up. Like I said, on Monday, we're going to have a special guest. My friend Major Joaquin is going to come by, and we're going to talk about the Red Kettle Days coming up to raise money this Christmas season. And so join us for a little information on Red Kettle. And again, I thank Juan for being with us, and we'll have him back soon again, I know. And it's been a blessing today. And you have a good weekend. I hope that SNAP story is true and get that SNAP money through, but we still need to help our pantries. And we need to work to get our health benefits in good shape. And I hope the administration understands where they're at there. So until Monday, have a great weekend and God bless you all. And again, thanks, Juan Thomas, for being with us today. God bless. Bye bye now.